Hey guys, I'm back again. This is example 2 now on section 7-6. We're still, this should be on page 296 of your book. Example 2, 296, yes. In this one, we're going to be factoring using trinomials by the X and box method. So example A was just they gave you the answer, two binomials, and they had you factor it, and they had you multiply it using FOIL or distributive property, or you could have used box method to multiply them, and you got this answer for A. So I'm not going to go over example 2A, but 2B is we're starting with this trinomial, and we're going to go backwards and factor it into two binomials. And we've done this before, except there's a difference here, and we're going to talk about what the difference is. So step one, we always look. Make sure you're copying this down, by the way, in your notes. Step one, we're always looking for a GCF to factor. So let's look at the three numbers. Always look for a GCF whenever you factor anything. So 6, 11, and 4. Is there a factor that's common to 6, 11, and 4? And the answer is no. 11 is a prime number, and nothing's divisible by any of the factors here. So there's no number factor for sure. How about variables? X squared, X, and no variable at all. They don't all have a variable, so there's no common factor. There's no common variable. Therefore, there is no GCF. So right here, I'm going to say no GCF. Wow, that means I can't factor. I can't simplify this polynomial, this trinomial at all. Since there's no GCF, I'm going to go to step 2. Step 2 says using the X method, we're going to factor it using X method and box method. Whoa. Usually we only use the X method and we're done. This time we have to not only do the X method, after we're finished with the X method, we have to do something called the box method that we've learned before. And we're going to have to use that in order to factor this out completely. The reason why we need the X method and box method is because this polynomial has a number 6 other than 1. See how it's 6x squared plus 11x plus 4? Since A is not 1, it's any number other than 1, we're going to have to factor this using the X method first, then also the box method. And it's going to be a little bit more complex than what we're used to. So let me go ahead and let's get started then. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to look at this polynomial. I'm going to rewrite it again. 6x squared plus 11x plus 4. Then I'm going to look, okay, let's see how we're going to factor. The first, step 1, is we're going to go ahead, I'll use Roman numeral number 1 for that, use the X method. This time the X method, on top, I always said C before, because A was always 1, so A times C equals whatever C was. This time it's always going to be A times C. That goes on top, there's a multiplication symbol here, still a plus sign at the bottom, and B goes on the bottom. So A times C happens to be 6 times 4. Remember, A is equal to 6, B is equal to 11, and C is equal to 4. So A times C is 6 times 4, which is 24. So the top number is 24, the bottom number is 11. What I need to do is find the factors of 24. Again, you can make this table, but you really don't have to. You can do it in your head or make a table. Factors of 24 that add to 11. Again, you don't have to make this table. The factors of 24 are 1 times 24, 2 times 12, 3 times 8, and 4 times 6. I think that's all of them, right? Are there any other ones? I don't think so. The question is, which one of these factor pairs, when you multiply them, you get 24, but when you add them, you get 11. And okay, so let's go ahead and do it. 1 plus 24 is not going to work. 2 plus 12 equals 14. That doesn't work. 3 plus 8. Oh, that works. It's 11. That's equal to 24 when you multiply them. But when you add them, you get 11. 3 and 8 are my winners. So 3 and 8 are going to be my factor pairs. Usually we'd be done right here and we'd write down x plus 3, x plus 8, and then we're done. But we're not. Since there's a number in front of x squared, 6, we have to go on further, because if I just stop here, I'm not done. So here I have, I'm going to put the 3 and 8 here. It doesn't matter which order you put them in. So usually we would go, okay, oh, that's easy. Well, it's going to be x plus 3, x plus 8. But if I were to multiply these together, I'd get x squared plus, use the box method or FOIL. I'm going to do it in my head. Outer and inner are going to be 11x plus 24. That's not the answer. That's not what we started with. Therefore, that doesn't work. I have to do something further. I'm not done yet. So step 2 is going to be the box method. We're going to do the box method going backwards this time. So in this problem, because a is equal to 6, the first term in front of x squared is not 1, we have to do 2 steps, not just 1 step like we were used to. So let's go ahead and do that second step, box method. So I'm going to draw a box like usual. What I'm going to do is write my terms. The first term is 6x squared, put it here. The last term is positive 4, put it down here. The middle term is 11x, but wait a minute, there's 2 boxes here for the middle term. Well, that's where this came in. We're going to use 3x and 8x to complete this box. So 8x plus 3x plus 8x, that's equal to 11x. So first term is here, 6x squared. The middle term are these two together, remember that? 3x plus 8x is 11x, that's the middle term. And then 4. So first term, middle term, last term always. And the middle term is always the diagonal. We had to break up 11x into 2 terms so that we can complete the 4 boxes. That's why we did the x method. We just made 11x into 3x and 8x. Now, here's how we're going to use the box method to find my 2 binomials. And this is going to be my final answer right here. Okay, I need my 2 binomials. This is going to be my final answer. But to do that, we're going to have to come here, and this is how it works. So listen very carefully. This is important. This is new. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to look at the first row. By the way, the 3x and 8x, I could have interchanged them. It doesn't matter which one you put where. I could put 8x here and 3x here, or vice versa, 3x here and 8x here. It doesn't really matter. Again, first term, middle term are these 2 terms added together, and the last term is this. The first thing I'm going to do is look at the first column, first row, sorry. I'm going to find the GCF of the first row, and I'm going to put the answer right over here. Then when we're finished, we're going to go ahead and complete the boxes by, we're going backwards this time. Usually we used to multiply to get these numbers, remember? Now we're going to go backwards and we're going to divide. You'll see why in a minute. We need the first, the only time we need the GCF is the GCF of the first row. The GCF of 6 and 8 is going to be, well, the factors, try 6. If you can't divide both by 6, 6 won't work. How about 3? No, you can't divide them both by 3. How about 2? Yeah, 2. 2 is the GCF. How about variables, x squared and x? Oh, x. Remember, the smallest one is going to be the GCF. They both have an x, at least an x. So 2x is the GCF of the first row. So finding GCF is very important. The rest of this is going to be, is simply going to be just go ahead and multiply backwards to fill out the rest of this table. So let's go ahead and do that. To get 6x squared, 2x times what gives me 6x squared? We're going backwards now. Or you can say 6x squared divided by 2x is 3x. That goes here. So 3x times 2x. See, I'm multiplying backwards to get this. To get 6x squared, didn't we have to multiply 2x times 3x to get 6x squared? That's where we got 6x squared. Now, to get this number here, isn't it going to be this number and this term? These 2 terms multiplied together get 3x. Well, 3x times what gives me 3x? Oh, 1. So the 1 goes here. 1 times 3x is 3x. See what we're doing here, guys? To get 8x, I got to multiply 2x times this number to get 8x. Well, we got to ask ourselves, 2x times what gives me 8x? Well, 2x times 4 gives me 8x, so 2x times 4 is 8x. Now, finally, you can check and see if it worked by multiplying the last 2 numbers together, and hopefully you get this last box. 4 times 1 is 4. Yeah, it works. You can double check everything. 2x plus 3x is 6x squared. Correct. 3x times 1 is 3x. Good. 2x times 4 is 8x. Good. And 4 times 1 is 4. Here are my two binomials. I'm finished. All I got to do is write them. It doesn't matter which one you write first. 2x plus 1 is one binomial. That goes here. The other one goes here. 3x plus 4. Now, this is the answer. I'm done. You can actually check this answer by multiplying these two binomials. And you will get 6x squared. If you multiply these together, and here it is. Multiply these together, you're going to get 6x squared plus 11x plus 4. So you are done. Now, I know this is a little more complex, but again, you can watch this video over and over again if you have to. I want you to do the same thing with try it, example 2 in your workbook, page 160, A and B. Here they are over here. Again, you need some room to write. There's a step 1 and a step 2. The step 1 is the X method. Step 2 is box method. We only use the step 2 when the number in front of A is not 1. And both of these, the number in front of X squared, which is A, is not 1. In both of these, it's 10 and 2. Therefore, we need the X method and the box method to factor this out into two binomials. Hopefully this helped you guys out. I will be posting this soon. Thank you. Bye-bye.